Hello world, did you know black and brown people across the world are reconnecting to their roots and redefining their relationships through gardening and farming? And Black Gardener Talk is dedicated to sharing those voices to inspire all people of color and maybe even some that don't look like us to grow by any means necessary. But sometimes we just need our own safe space to talk. Good morning, I'm Kamani Anku, and this is Black Gardener Talk. And my guest today is DC's own Ronnie Webb of the Green Scheme. Let's get into it, y'all. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I am happy to be here. Yes, let's get Ronnie in the room. Let me request him. I hope everybody is doing good. Spring is here. You know what I'm saying? Spring is coming. It is coming. It's time to start growing your own food. I'm waiting for Ronnie to join me. Tell me how y'all feeling in the room this morning. Right there in the chat. Let me know how you feeling today. And the thing. So Black Gardener Talk is powered by Black. Power and Black is a t-shirt owned company. You use my code Kimani, all capital letters. You can get a 15% discount on free shipping on orders over 75%. It's the real deal. I'm trying to wait for Ronnie to come in. Let me see if he's on his other app. Ronnie, where are you? Oh, there you go. What's up?
Top of the morning, top of the morning.
Top of the morning. Yeah, thank you for joining me. Yeah, y'all, this is Ronnie Webb, like I said. We're gonna get started. We can throw some hearts in there for him in the room, throw him some hearts in the room. Thank you for joining us this morning, Ronnie. Can you hear me?
Hey, I'm sorry. I had to call her and say thank you. Honored to have you. I missed the call came in and blocked it out, so I didn't hear the second part.
I would say thank you for joining me this morning. I'm excited. It's been a long time coming. A good friend of mine, Brandon Felton, wanted me to meet you over 6-7 years ago, and now look what's happening. It's here, right?
That's what's up, man. I've been following Brandon on the gram closely too. I see him doing this thing. So that's
Yeah.
glad we could connect.
So my first question is, what is your first memories of a garden or gardening? Let's get into it that way.
I think that okay, my first memories of gardening, right? So I grew up in Northeast DC off Rhode Island Avenue. And I had a grandmother who lived if y'all familiar with Saratoga Avenue. So she used to live right off Saratoga Avenue. But she had Saratoga Avenue is full of is mainly apartments, but she had a house on the corner. And in that corner in the house I had an uncle who I really looked up to, my great aunt who used to babysit me. Her son, which is a cousin of mine who I always considered as an uncle, which is real cool. He was a science teacher. But I grew up really a neighborhood guy, science teacher. But in the backyard in this small row house was the biggest collard greens you ever seen in your life. You know what I'm saying? So like, I really didn't make a connection and realize that was probably like my sort of like my gateway into gardening. But as I look back, I thought it was cool just seeing these different plants that he had. But besides, he also had like reptiles like snakes and fish. So I just looked at him. I thought the outdoors was always cool, you know, just by, I think, introduction through him. But then just me being a kid, I always loved going out Maryland. I had two cousins of mine who I would go out Maryland and log, and we would go explore the woods, just go walk down the trails, or, you know, even in Fort Washington. My mother at one point moved out to Fort Washington. So we would probably like 13, 12. We would just go in the woods, start walking through the woods, see what we can find. So I think that's sort of what connected me to outdoors and gardening.
That's what's up. So from gardening then, or seeing that, to Green Scheme, how did that come about? What made you want to like start an organization that kind of promotes healthy eating and empowering people, our people, and empowering community?
Okay, so I have a bachelor's degree in agricultural economics from North Carolina A&T, but I
What's
can tell
up?
you a cool story. So in high school, I had a one of my mentors. I played basketball, so one of my mentors who got us in different schools, got us in open gyms, different things like that. He had a nonprofit. It's a nonprofit. It's called EGOS, Education Goals, Opportunities, and Sports. And so I had always seen a nonprofit model, and he used to always tell me like, Ronnie, why would you want to play in the NBA when you can work in the NBA? You don't have to do all the traveling and still make almost as much money and have a better quality of life without being stressed and stuff. And that clicked to me, right? And so
Hmm.
watch what he did. He helped people, but he was able to pay himself through helping people. And so as I went to I was in 12th grade. I remember going through my college application. I always knew I wanted to start a business. And so like business management was what I was banking on like doing. And I was so happens I remember going down North Carolina's A&T's looking at agriculture economics. I'm like, Mom, that sounds like some money. As a backup, make it fast forward, I ended up going to A&T and business management was full. So they told me I had to stay in ag economics for 1 year and then I could transfer over to business management. Ended up staying in the ag for the first year. I liked the small classes. I liked my advisor. Didn't really know what I was going to do with it, but ended up following up, graduating, and came back home. And when I came home, I applied. It was like during the recession, so I applied like I could tell you at least 100 USDA jobs, right? 100 USDA jobs. I may have got one preliminary interview, but nothing after that, right? And I thought I had this degree. I'm like, dang, I'm from DC. I got this degree, man. My government job, and it didn't happen like that. And so what did happen though was 2 years later we received a federal grant from the USDA for about 114,000. And so in between that time of me applying for jobs and starting the green scheme, um, I remember that I was just like, dang, what am I strong at? And I knew I was strong at. I used to promote through my own events from open mics to different college happy hours, different types of things. So I knew I was strong at getting people out. But then I was looking at what paperwork, what backed me up as far as what I was strong on paper with, and I knew I had a degree in agriculture. So I just wanted to find a way to make it cool to connect in the world we were in. And so the nonprofit model was the best model for me. So I started with just doing a small community garden bed in the community that I grew up in a workshop for the community. And you know, we just wanted to make it cool to eat healthy, to recycle. The organization really didn't have a solid mission at the time, besides making green the new cool. It's
Okay, that's
going
what's up.
in different
How
ways.
did you get like? Because I had problems of when I first started early on getting my black friends involved in going green and eating healthy. How did your friends open up to that?
Man, it was
I mean, being from DC, you know how we do sometimes. Go the streets. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Well, a lot of my buddies, man, they knew I went to school, right? They knew I went.
Hmm.
They eventually found out it was for that, but for the longest they thought it was like like just something I was doing or just something that they didn't see the importance of it. So it took me. The green scheme was 11 years old. It took me recently, like the last 2 or 3 years, I think that my peers have started to really respect the work that we're doing at the Green Scheme. And what's really cool is our deputy director, his name is Jerome Nesbitt. He's from the same neighborhood as me, and so like for the longest time, but it's two of us who have been consistent in pushing this work. So it really resonates. And another thing too is that my team, they look like me, they sound like me. Um, a lot of us even grew up together. Kiana Newby is another one. She's our founder of Girls Gone Green and our director of education. We all came up together. A lot of us, and Andrea is another one who we were able to recruit. So we recruited and kind of found people that look like us and push the mission. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been tough, man. It's been times we've been pushing the mission with no funding or just off of with barely any resources. And I just got to be really thankful. I have a strong team that you know, that really supports our mission. And each one of the people that I think is really on our core team, they all have a passion in connecting into the environment or into health and fitness in some form of fashion. So it's a natural connection that also goes with it.
That's what's up. How important do you think it is for people that look like us represent the people out in the streets for is like the green world, gardening, farming, just in the business? How important do you think that is? Because I work for a school system, and there is a couple folks that don't look like us come and visit with food, and the parents will be like, "Nah, we don't want that stuff. We don't know where those folks grew that stuff at." How important do you think it is for people that look like us to represent in the streets like that?
I think it's very important. What's crazy is I think that um, we are so connected to our food. You know what I'm saying? We so connected to our food. So you know, even from mumbo sauce, you know, food is our culture. But I think that what is very important is for like, and that's what the green scheme is for. It's for education, right? Like, people, the more information they get, the better and more informed decisions they make about what they eat, what they put in their body, their health, lifestyle, X, Y, and Z, right? So education is the key. Um, I'm thinking, you know, so for me, I feel like there's a lot of mismarketing out about food. You know, like, you know, I talk to kids all the time and I say, man, I take an orange Pop Tart, right? The Sun Kiss Pop Tart. And I say, do this look like this orange? How do you get this from this? Can any of y'all put this together? So, and when those connections are being made, I think that's when people sort of go out and promote a positive health message. And a prime example is just like water. Once people realize how much sugars in water, I mean, how much sugars in sodas or in juices and teas and stuff like that, they didn't know. If you show them how much a pound of sugar is in a 16.9 ounce of Hawaiian Punch or orange juice, something as famous as ocean spray orange juice, then you would kind of see like they make those connections. And if somebody's diabetic, they're 50, 60 years old and they're diabetic, they're saying, whoa, I didn't even know. I thought this was healthier than drinking a soda. And so they're able to share the information. And I think that's the key. And our messengers are really credible. So, like, for the longest time, you know, I've tried to push this message to people who have platforms. And the way that I did that was connect with them. Everybody connects to food in some type of way. Black, white, Chinese, Asian, you know, just any way everybody connects to it.
That's what's up. Your people's definitely in the room this morning. Y'all can throw some hearts in there for Ronnie.
Throw some love.
Yeah, throw some love in there. I would say I definitely agree with you. One of the things how I changed some people or some kids' minds, and then those kids changed as parents was, um, I flipped hot flaming Cheetos into hot flaming carrots, and and the kids went crazy for the hot flaming carrots, and then they told their parents that they want to have some hot flaming carrots. So it's definitely a way that we can reach the people, you know, especially our kids. How
So
did Green Scheme get into like the school system? How did you push that initiative to start teaching kids gardening?
it's great question. We really started off in public housing. We really started off in public housing, not besides public housing. Started off in youth development sites like the YMCA's, Boys and Girls Club, DPR, DC Department of Park and Recreational Centers. And we started by doing like programming, like for those summer camps and after school. And so I think we're really for those summer camps. Really, we really were doing summer programming. I think we approached the school at the time. The legislation for school gardens had just got passed out for DC, so it was a hot item at the time. From us doing summer camps and just being consistent and working with different youth groups throughout the city, you know, I think I want to say one of our first opportunities was a partnership with DC Department of Parks and Recreation, where they were able to get us to provide an after-school gardening program for 5 Ward 7 elementary schools. And so I think that was the key. Once we were able to start doing stuff like that, and just our organization, the name sort of rising up. Our partners, a lot of our partners and other organizations who do similar work to us, they sort of brought us in with them on maybe partnerships with dealing with the school systems. And as we showed our work and our talent, we were able to create our own space and lane with DCPS, OSSI, the charter branches, with those different type schools.
Okay. Do y'all take donations?
Yeah, we take donations. You can go.
All right, folks in the room, I need y'all to donate today. Donate to the green scheme today. All right. Moving from the green scheme, I know you're involved in this water company thingy. Talk about the water situation.
Let me see if I can grab one for y'all.
Okay. So yeah, he's not only doing gardening, but he's promoting his, I believe it's his own brand of water. But yeah, y'all can donate to greenscheme.org, okay? Make a donation to him. Let's talk about this water, and then we're gonna get back into you and your gardening and your life in that world.
All right, sweet. So this water, right? This water is cool, right? When you look at this water, you see a packaged product, right? So it's a 9.4 alkaline water that is produced locally in the DMV and distributed out, right? That's half of it. Great tasting water. Get your hands on it. We're in Good Food Markets, all 3 locations: Sea Pleasant, Ward 8, and Ward 5, Rhode Island Avenue. We're in the Sweet Potato Bakery, and we are also in a few stores in Ward 5. But one of the things about what's so special about this product is this product actually was created in Ward 8. So I was with a group of students called the Peace Kings who attend Stanton Elementary. And we've had a gardening program going on for about 2 years. It was getting a little cool, so we transitioned more into like nutrition. As we transitioned to our nutrition lessons, we partnered with a photography group in the school, and we took the kids to on Alabama Avenue to the corner stores, to the Safeway that's there, and to the gas station stores to take pictures of the food options that their community had, right? Because we were talking, and these are elementary school kids, fourth and fifth graders. And so taking with the Polaroid cameras, they took the pictures and we came back and looked at it. And the main thing that they said that they lacked in their community was healthy water, like the good water. So they were right. They had pictures of all types of cheap purified water, and it was the only option in the store. So they wanted to find a way to address this. A week before we went and took those photos, we did an infused water workshop. We had mint growing in the garden. We had different herbs stuff growing in the garden. So I showed them how to infuse the water. And we actually bought blank water bottles so they can fill them up themselves and make their own water. From there, the kids were so excited about that we started selling this water at their school events and just different places like that. And they were selling out. They were getting like $2-3 a bottle for mint. So as an organization, we saw the opportunity to provide a healthy product in the communities that we feel needed, and B, it's an opportunity to train our young folks and keep them off the streets and find a way for them to get some money by teaching them how to create a product, manufacture it, produce it, market it, and then distribute the product. And so now what we do is we have this thing is basically the model of Girl Scout cookies. We in Ballou High School right now, the Nationals Junior Baseball Academy, we run what we call our Corner Water Entrepreneurship Series. And what that is kids create their own water. We give them blank bottles. They get their own labels. And it's a corner water product, but we give them their own labels. So, like, you got to think in Ballou High School, we had slime water. We had we had beauty water. We had all types of stuff. And they name it based off of some of the ingredients they put in one. One young lady came up with a water that was really good for dogs. You know, it shows the creativity. This is at Ballou High School, shows the creativity of some of the kids. So they're able to produce and manufacture their own water. Ballou students were able to sell it in their cafeteria. They sold 200 bottles of water within less than an hour.
Oh, wow.
About that. What we've done now is we are now partnering and bringing kids now, training them. We have really developed it to a young adult program. We're training young adults in sales, become sales reps and be able to sell stuff. So now these young kids, like these kids that come up there out of Ballou High School that in our pipeline for corner water, and not just those kids. Any kid who wants an opportunity, or young adult who wants an opportunity, can come get paid to be in our training program, but B, come sell our actual corner waters and make an 8% commission off of the cases that they sell. And we're able to identify the customer base for them, whether it's hotels, whether it's restaurants, whether it's events going on, whether it's gyms, and they're able to market it and make a sales approach. So now we've been able to take this model for young adults, and they're able to make a commission and actually learn some not just entrepreneur but sales skills, where they'll be able to get certified from us. And they do stuff like, I don't know if you know about a DISC assessment. So we do like the breakdown from soft skills all the way to their personalities, how they're able to sort of implement that into their sales strategy, how to set goals. So we're trying to sell, if we might want them to sell 450 cases a month. So we got to show them how to sell those cases. What's the minimums? Show them what their money looks like, how they can set up commission. So all those type of things. So when I say this is a cool program, and we've really been hot in this program. We're going to launch heavily starting this April. And these kids, these young adults will be at the farmers markets. So go buy your cases of water, sign up, subscribe, because you will be helping them do some positive stuff, put some money in their pockets, stay active, learn some new skills.
That's what's up, y'all. Go and get some corner water. If a person does not live in DC, because I have a lot of folks that's not necessarily in DC, can they order this corner water online?
Yes. And so the website is under construction. But what I can say is go on Instagram and follow us at Corner Water. At Corner Water right now, and we will be doing like a website like launch and all of that stuff, and all of that is going to be done before April, so within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So but just please, if you get a chance, follow us on Instagram, support anything y'all could do to just show the kids some love and show the community some love. The mission is to get the healthiest water to the people who need it the most.
That's what's up, y'all. Go support this guy. Share this video out, because this is some powerful information, y'all. This is a young black man in DC. He's doing all green stuff, and he got water too. That's incredible. You know what I'm saying? So let's get back to a little bit about you. Who taught you how to garden? So your grandparents had a garden in the backyard, or uncle had the garden in the backyard. You went to school for some farming and gardening and all that good stuff. How did you start gardening? And who taught you?
Man, even with a degree in agriculture, I did not know how to garden when I got back to the city, right? Like they was teaching us about equine science. It was horses and cows and, just like all of those type of things. Farming was there, but it was at a major scale. And being a city kid, I'd never seen big farming equipment or like tractors and stuff like that. So when I came back, when I started the green scheme, it's a buddy of mine who had went to graduate from school without walls, from playing on the same basketball team as me, but also went to North Carolina A&T. He had came back down to A&T to go to grad school for agriculture, but his father was a master gardener. So his father encouraged him to get into the master gardening course. As he got into the master gardening course, I had started the green scheme a few months before. So he was one of those early on folks that had a vision for, the type of work we was trying to do. His name was Xavier Brown. He does some great work. You may know him. He's definitely in the farming community. And so with that being said, he came up to me. He was just like, man, we got, I'm a master gardener now, man. We could do all this stuff. Woo, woo. And so I was like, cool. So I really just started hanging with him, tagging along with him for real. We went to, I remember going to a Casey tree planting with him, just doing different stuff. So I just remember tagging along with him, and he really took just the urban farming really serious, even to this day. He's doing some real creative stuff with just how they're growing and, just the science of agriculture. So, if you can check him out, he has an organization called Soyful.
Yes. Hopefully I'll have him on sometime this week, or at least do an interview. So this week on my Instagram, I want to spotlight all DMV people, like shops, stores, singers, gardeners like yourself, organizations. So yeah, hopefully I can get Xavier on. He does follow me here. I did just push this out to him. Hopefully he can join us and see what we're talking about today. So he started you on gardening. What was your first mistake while learning?
I think my first mistake was probably trying to plant too much stuff close to each other. You know what I'm saying? Or not seeing the stuff sprout out, keep trying to put more stuff in. You know, finally I said, oh, it's starting to work. And I had to start learning, seeing how to, you know, the stuff grows. And I think different spaces taught me a lot of different stuff. You know, so we're in the city, you know, we might be putting a raised bed on concrete. We might be digging and tilling and adding compost to some soil that already exists. It's really compact, you know, just, I think just the different, it's not like typical farmland, you know, it's so much different city features that it could be a building on this side and this side where it's blocking the sun. So it's not no space in there. So I think those are some of the nuances I learned, but I'm still learning to this day. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still learning to this day. I mean, I know the basics. If the world was to, anything God forbid was to happen, I'd be able to grow my own food, man, be able to get my stuff, you know, up and running. But you know, I think it's also like art though. I look at this stuff like it's art a little bit. You can do your own thing, have your own styles, you know, find your own sort of lane into the gardening piece. And you really can't really mess up, I don't think, unless you start adding a bunch of chemicals or harmful things.
Yeah, we don't want those chemicals.
Yeah.
But that's what's up. And while you was making those mistakes, were you writing this stuff down? Did you journal this stuff so you could take it back to the green scheme, or eventually take it back to the green scheme when you had that vision in your head?
I didn't. I think our team, we were really learning together.
Okay.
And we had new members transition in. You know, I think one of the main things we did was we do everything as a team. So if I don't know somebody else knows some, you know, and we able to you know, and if not, we able to make a phone call or two to see if it's something, you know, like when it comes to stuff like installing irrigation systems, you know, we just started really tapping into that. Like those type of things, we might call and ask somebody. And we have a vast network now of folks who, you know, just they're supporters, great people who just help us out.
That's what's up. I like that community. I believe community is everything. I think we need to go back to the community. Like you said, Xavier Brown took you. Now you teaching people, and then those people eventually teach some people. You know what I'm saying? Community, and we have to go back to that. I believe the community now is going to be the new plug. That's what I say. You know what I'm saying? But from mistakes to what was your first gardening success? What made you go, damn, I did that?
We had an event. I swear, and I still got a video for this. It was the coolest event we ever did. So we was in it was in Lincoln Heights, which is in Ward 7, public housing, second biggest housing development at the time, in DC. Very community with various challenges, from public safety to food accessibility, to those type of things. And one of the things that we did was we had a community day out there where we had, I bought this big grill out. We bought probably, I ain't say a couple thousand, but we spent some money on some food, maybe a couple $1,000 on just getting just food to cook on the grill. Had a sound man come, so we set up so a go-go band could play. The go-go band that we had got to play were actually from that Lincoln Heights community. Had a poet or two come out. Had somebody come and say a prayer over the whole community, right? But you got to think, I'm doing this at 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. I got a DJ out there and I got a big grill out there. So before the first 20, 30 minutes of that, it's about 200 to 300 people out there. When we I had a partnership with Casey Trees. So as we were there, as Casey Trees were coming, they had bought 21 fruit trees for us to plant in the middle of the public housing site, right by their family enhancement center. Right beside that, on the other side of the enhancement center, we had a garden build. Xavier Brown was the lead on this garden build. And we built a garden in the shape of an L and an H. The raised bed said L and H for Lincoln Heights, and we had 21 fruit trees right on the side of that. The lady, the property manager at Lincoln Heights, had told me, she said, Mr. Webb, she said, you know, I understand you want to, she told me this like 2 weeks before, I understand you want to bring some trees here, but the community is going to tear these trees up. I just did a tree planting a couple of weeks ago, and they tore the trees out the ground, right? And so
Hmm.
when she did her tree planting, she didn't do it with the community. She did it like she just had some people come in, put some trees in there, right? And
Yeah.
so, as I had all the people out there, I said one thing, y'all, we gonna have a good time before as the event started, as the people, everybody came around, we gonna have a good time. But everybody gotta get their hands dirty if they want to eat. And so, we had teams of people planting trees, then we had teams of people building, moving in the wheelbarrows, moving the soil to the new raised beds, and then people actually planting, depending on what they wanted to do, and people watering, stuff like that. And so when that event was so successful, I mean, I remember Casey Trees just saying, "Oh, we can't get no more volunteers, no more volunteers, no more volunteers." I'm like, how y'all gonna deny people from planting trees? Y'all in their community, but I understand what they're saying for safety. We just had too many volunteers. But it was a beautiful day. The band ended up playing. It was a beautiful. Everybody got fed. It was just a big community day, and I think to this day, that garden with the fruit trees still exists to this day. I had to do some things where we had to move the raised beds around a few times because of just some of the politics of the site. But you know, to me that was a prime example. We had 300 people out in the middle of a public housing site. Everybody's super excited to plant trees, build gardens, plant,
Hmm.
eat, and then watch the community and culture come out and celebrate. And to me, like, and that garden was like a staple. Like people weren't putting at that time, they wasn't putting gardens in them type of neighborhoods. Those gardens weren't sustaining. We used to have in that same garden. I've ran summer programs for kids, not just for kids intergenerational, where the parent is in the kitchen and in the enhancement center cooking, and the kid is out getting the herbs and stuff to add into it, and we sit down and we have a community conversation about healthy food. We ran programs like also. So just to show you significance of that space and building the space out like that and being able to sort of activate it is huge, man. Just the impact it had past that day is super major.
That's what's up. I mean, I've seen that space before, and I was like, "Who is doing this?" And this was before I really was like into gardening. I was like, "Man, I need to find out who this is." Come to find out, Brandon, my good friend, knew who he was, who you were, and then he's like, "You gotta meet this person." And
Yeah, man.
I was like, "I'm trying. I'm trying. I got a lot of stuff going on." You know what I'm
What
saying? And now we here. You know what I'm saying? We definitely have to connect more after this. I want to be able to volunteer and do some things with you. Um, from that, what advice would you give like a new gardener or somebody who wants to start a green program or green organization here in DC?
Okay, I answer that two ways. For a new gardener, any advice I can get to a new gardener is just don't be afraid to make a mistake and don't be afraid to start small. Whether you're doing a small container garden on your balcony or in your windowsill or in balcony or your windowsill or you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
your front doorstep. Don't
doorstep.
make a mistake. Don't be afraid to overwater, underwater, experiment with your plants. Just have fun with it. Anybody who's trying to start like an organization or a business, um, I would definitely recommend doing your homework on what already exists out here. A lot of people um, enter the the business side of this or the organization side or the organizing side of this, and they don't really know what's already exists out there. And I think it'll save folks a lot of time if they knew what was already out there, because that just strategically, I think that it'll help you align your business. You'll find your lane. And it's like, so what I've learned is just a lot of organizations. There's people out here who are doing work, but we have our lane. They have their lane. This person has their lane. And the more your organization builds up, the more comfortable you are with your lane. And that in turns allows you or gives you the confidence to partner more. And so partnerships are really crucial in sustaining and growing, especially in a city like DC. We have some really cool partners that have really, I'm talking about government agency partners to uh, to other nonprofits who do work in our immediate food justice, environmental justice arena, but then also other organizations who don't do anything with food or the environment, but want to connect in some form of fashion. And so I just think that there's knowing who's doing what out there already, what already exists. Have some conversations, go out and get into conversations. Follow Black Gardener Talk, different podcasts, different platforms that are focusing on some of the hyper local stuff, but also the content also.
That's what's up. Also speak to, so last week I spoke at a Black Farmer Symposium to people at Nova Community College, and the whole goal was to encourage those people to get into agriculture and take all their classes there at the Nova campus there. And you went to school and you got a degree in agriculture. Talk about that. How important is it for us to start pushing more of our Black kids towards that area of business or that degree?
I think that is very important. From the entrepreneurship perspective to the career pathways perspective. I know now I got a partner of mine who's at the USDA, and he's been really pushing for the green career pathways. Actually, I know a few people in the USDA, and they're like, we're the only really people of color here. We want to get our young people in these jobs. Do they know, about these opportunities? Do they even know that the USDA is looking for diverse candidates? So I think some of the best things to do is really, we got to engage our young folks early and let them know about these programs. And it has to be more work like what you're doing. So for instance, this should be for an environmental science class. This could be one of the videos or series they follow once a week or once a month, where they're just seeing different people that look like them, talk like them, can relate to them, and outside of just the food or the green world, they can relate to them on a personal level, to show them the opportunities. I think when it's always that stigma, oh man, farmers don't make that much money. But I bet you if I told them that, man, if you go to one in Eastern Market, or you go down Fort DuPont Farmers Market, some of those vendors might be leaving with $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in a few hours from selling their product out there. Then it'll change their perspective, And that's one thing what I really want to do with this water. Water is something that it's a low cost commodity, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
and we take it for granted too. We take water for granted too.
We do, and they look at it like, oh, this could be somebody just fill this up in the sink and do. Nah, And when you show them the business side of it, when they actually come, like we've actually taken kids to a bottling plant, right? When they actually see the assembly line, how water is actually manufactured, the big cisterns, the big charcoal filters, the cleanliness of the plant. Just like different rooms and fans, by different things are there, from the label machine to watching the bottles get rinsed, and then before they even get waters poured in, how the pH level is determined. So they start to see like, oh, this is big business. Oh, well, and they start saying, well, oh, you start breaking the numbers down to them. Okay, well, if you're buying it like this and you're getting it like this, then you got to sell it like this. But you can't sell. You got to sell a minimum of 5 cases at a time. And this is how you do it. And then you start showing, oh, well, if you do that and you reach your goal this month, then this X $1,000 that you're getting every month. And so I think just showing them like the scale of business and what people are doing with it. I love to see stuff like it's a group called the Spice Suite. Are you familiar with them?
Mm-hmm.
And how they create their products, and able to expand and showing co-op models. I think that what has been missing from the agriculture perspective with Black folks and Black communities is the business side of it, how to really make money. And a big part of that is because of systemic racism. Our education, our school systems, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
The resources to support it. Even out really, and I always boils down to education. I remember being at A&T, I had a professor, and it was crazy. It was a white guy, right? But he took my favorite class. My favorite class was it was called agricultural research, but it was really just a research class. It showed you how to do your homework on things, right? And his job, he was a consultant, and he used to tell me about how he used to go in the summertime visit Black farmers and really help them, consult them so they can get their books together, like on QuickBooks and stuff like that, because everything was written down, and stuff like that. And so you think about technology, you think about bookkeeping, all this stuff is educational based. And I think that's that. And I know that's what's had us behind the ball for the longest. But I think now it's a new time. Like it's at one point blacks weren't allowed in the major baseball league. Now look how much money they're making, and they turned into a business. Or even look at rappers, right? A rapper was getting signed by this, was doing business this particular way. Now you see they got their own labels, they're doing their own distribution, they've been real creative with their marketing, they're getting into film, they're doing all this type of stuff. And I think that's the same thing that needs to happen within the agricultural industry, like amongst the Black community. Like we have to figure out creative ways to incorporate agriculture into all of the business components that we can.
Yeah, and I like what you said. Find your space in that area. Like me, my business. I just really became a business, but I've been growing food for about 12 years, and I was like, how do I get in this? You know what I'm saying? And I think my space now, I feel like, is to educate, is to have like this show, like the Black Gardener Talk, and then now going into schools and talking about, opposed to just growing food. I'm still gonna always grow food and teach people how to grow food, but I think mine is really to educate the people, and I think that's where I would serve best in this environment, in this gardening setting. You know what I'm saying? Opposed to just growing food or teaching kids how to grow food, even though I teach kids in the school system how to grow food. But yeah, I think we have to find our niche, and she was already out there. And then if it's already out there, don't try to reinvent that wheel. You know what I'm saying? Okay, go to the next level and do something else. Maybe if you're a great marketer, help us as Black people market our nonprofits or our private businesses or whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you're great with social media, maybe you need to help us with our content. And still play a part in that agriculture system. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, for sure. And what kind of bothers me a little bit though? Like I look at it now, like people, like for real, like where I'm at now, I'm 35, right? So I started this organization when I was 24, right? Because of like, man, just outside of who I am, I'm not just green scheme or corner water, man. I'm Ronnie Webb before that, right? So my whole life, what I'm saying, I've been myself. What kind of disturbs me though is that it took 10 years for people really to understand the work. So that was very frustrating for a long time. Like I grew up with people who are doing some great community work around different issues in the city, and for the longest, from our people, it was almost brushed under the rug a little bit because it wasn't the flash thing at the time, But I give you a prime example, right? And they get they ups and downs. People have their opinion about them, but what they've done in the environmental and sustainability sector I think it's been amazing, especially when they first started out. Was the Broccoli City Festival, right?
Yes.
When they first started out, that model was very unique. It was the model was set out to be an Earth Day celebration. So there were a ton of in their first couple of festivals, there were a ton of vendors who were doing like the most creative stuff I've ever seen in my life. Just different types of businesses, all in the environmental sector, the food health sector, it's different sectors. But you've seen all these different business models coming together. One thing that I like what they do is they do an event called the Broccoli Conference, right? Where they bring all these thought leaders together who are in the environmental sector, in the food and nutrition sector, the fitness sector, the entrepreneurship sector, housing sector, and they bring them together and they would discuss these businesses, but not just be able to discuss these businesses, is letting people talk to these thought leaders who have created these new business models. I think these new business models, and you're a prime example of one. You're creating a new business model, you're getting information out, you're doing it in a business standpoint, you're building and developing it, and it's going to just continue to grow. It's like you have endless possibilities. Um, you have endless possibilities once your foundation is set up and your paperwork is right. You know,
Yes.
kind of what type of sponsor may say, hey man, you know, Whole Foods, you never know. You know, somebody who definitely wants to tap into the consumer market of African Americans in the urban city, to people that are conscious about what they eat and what they put in their body. So I just saw, and that's just and I know you have probably a tremendous vision what you're going to do, which thing, but I just wanted to show people an example how, just taking that one step and being creative in your business. Now we're talking about gardening, and this is a platform that's the platform that you've created, right? So we don't even have to be in the garden to we don't even have to be in the garden to do gardening or to educate people.
Yes. I agree. It's crazy you speak about the Broccoli City Festival because I know the founder of it, and I have never been on one of those talks or anything. So I gotta reach out to him again. But he knows what I've been doing, you know what I'm saying? But I just have never been on one of them. I think I'm at a new level now where I think I deserve to be on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um,
even something as far like partnership is so cool. Even if you could do a live podcast at the conference,
oh yeah.
something like that would be super dope. And you might grab the panelists that come in and get personal and like something like, and of course that's going to get used in all of their content when they recap and stuff. So that may be an idea.
I appreciate that. So, how do you determine what you're going to grow in the spaces that you teach these kids or green scheme is in? How do you determine what foods you're going to grow?
I give the kids a list of local seasonable stuff, and I let them choose, and then I we kind of prep them beforehand, so we might show them, we might say like, we're gonna do pumpkins leading into, coming into October, y'all. We're gonna do, we might do berries, blueberry bushes, or we might do the leafy greens. Or we're gonna do tomatoes. So we just ask them what they really want. And you'd be surprised. A lot of these kids, though, even elementary schools and some of the most urban ward age sites, some of these kids, man, really have a green thumb. They know they grandparent, they auntie or somewhere, they went somewhere and they had some, or their school garden, or like a class that they did like inside school. They have some. Oh, and I'm gonna be honest with you. We have a summer camp with that we partner with the DC Department of Parks and Recreation. So every Parks and Recreation camp was coming to our urban farm at 90 Annenbergs for a 2 to 3 hour farm experience. When we went to the school system, and this back when I was really teaching the classes, so we got to think we're seeing 1,000 kids a summer at a minimum, right?
Oh
Come
wow,
face to face doing a gardening thing with us for 2 hours. Um, by the time summer's over, we go into them schools, it's the same kids because we focus really east of the river. So any east of the river school we go to, most of those kids, a lot of those kids have had some exposure to our program.
that's what's up. That's what's up. Um, Next question: where do you get your seeds? Who gives you seeds? Who donates seeds? Where you buy your seeds from?
Y'all got to check this out. This is a great resource for DC. So DC Department of Parks and Recreation has an urban gardening division,
Mm-hmm.
ran by Watani, Josh Singer, and Kimari. And one of the things that they do is they have a seed swap. So like I'm not a, they do seed swap. So usually every year at Root in DC, we collect all of the seeds we can. So we can, we have endless seeds for the summertime. We buy seeds too. So, especially certain stuff that we want. We want purple carrots or the yellow watermelons, stuff like that. We will buy those seeds. And then, we buy them or we usually get them at Root in DC. To be honest with you, we buy them though.
That's what's up. Folks, this is your opportunity now to ask some questions. If you want to ask some questions, just put them in the little question box right there and we can get to some of your questions. I still have some questions for you. Um, what was the hardest plant you ever tried to grow since you've been growing?
Uh, Probably marijuana. So uh,
No, and why? I mean,
no, no,
we
no,
talk
no,
about that.
no, no. I've seen that. Listen, but that's a complicated plant to grow, right? Because if you want to grow it right, I think I think that I think you know what else is pretty hot. Well, I didn't really never waited to see it turn out. Potatoes. So I've never really really planted potatoes. I might have planted them. I never like seen the harvest from them. Never followed all the way through. So you know, potato maybe it's just me though. It might just be me, just you know what I'm saying, a mind thing. But tomatoes seem rather difficult. Watermelons too. I
Okay.
often have problems. I don't have problems with squash. Watermelon, like getting it at the right time when they ripe. You know, I didn't early on in my gardening times. I've been so pressed to see a watermelon grow and snatch it off the line that I've snatched dozens of them way too early.
Yeah, I think I'm still learning that process too. I don't usually it's mine is when to really start those seeds, and then I don't get a watermelon until like November, and then it's not ripe. You know what I'm saying? Because it's too late in the game here in the DMV area or the DC area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
Do
it's
you have a favorite plant or vegetable that you like to grow and that you like to eat? That's a hard one.
plant and vegetable. I, you know, I would say it's crazy. I would say like kale or Swiss chard because it's really easy. But I juice every day, right?
Okay.
And so for me to just be able to go out in the back and cut off some dinosaur kale, fresh, I know it's nothing in it. You know what I'm saying? You know, to me, I just love doing that. That and the Swiss chard, but I also love growing like just like lettuce. You know, to be able to go out, man, throw a piece of fish or some shrimp on the grill, and be able to cut the lettuce fresh, do a fresh salad. I think those are kind of like because they good. They like stuff I could easily cook with. Sometimes I don't always have the time to cook, so I'm trying to get something that's prep pretty easy.
That's what's up. And kale and Swiss chard, it is. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
got a ton of kale right now, and a ton of Swiss chard still growing. You know
Uh,
that snow and that cold weather has not done any damage to it. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? The lettuce got a little bit frozen, but other than that, that Swiss chard is growing like crazy. You know what I'm saying?
But they say the collard that frost adds the taste to it.
Oh yeah, that too. I got a bunch of collard greens.
Oh yeah,
Um,
you good.
yeah.
That's
Um, one of my other questions, and almost we're gonna be wrapping up soon, but have you learned a favorite trick or tip that you picked up along the way from your organization to just growing your own food? Has there been any tips or tricks that you learned?
yeah. Um, yeah. Gotta, it's simple for me. I'm gonna just university put it all together. Like I can say, just get your hands dirty, but you gotta take that first step. You just can't care. Like you got whether you starting a business, whether you doing like you can't be afraid to fail, and that sounds so typical, right? But you
Mm,
gotta almost run uncomfortable situations. Like with me, like even like right now, this water business is it's like I thought it was simple. I thought it was like, man, we get this, but nah, it's a lot more complicated than I thought. And so as I'm getting in these pretty uncomfortable spaces, I'm learning to embrace and I'm trying to build my habit up so I embrace and run to uncomfortable spaces. And the reason to me that's so important is because when you get in uncomfortable spaces is when you're the most vulnerable, but when you learn the most. And so I've learned how to take my L's and capitalize off L's. I don't even, you know, they say a L isn't a loss, it's a lesson. And I really believe that. You know, I really feel like you going through that because that was something small that you needed to get through this big level, this other level you're trying to advance to. So I would just say, just go, man. Just move like you're in a hurry and just go. You know, do stuff.
and then my next question, almost at the end, how has all of this changed you since you first started? I'm gonna pause my camera because I gotta go get my charger, but you can still talk to the people. How have this changed you? I'm gonna still be listening, all right? I just gotta get my charger. I don't want to die.
I sound good. Sound good. What changed me, y'all, I think is this issue, the more and more I see how it impacts our culture, our people, health. Kids from the smallest things of a kid not getting a nutritious breakfast, how that can lead to them misbehaving in school, fighting the school to prison pipeline. So just saying how important the work that is that we are doing. I always knew it was important, but when you're on the ground and you kind of can see firsthand the short term and long term impacts of your people and how this stuff is affecting your people, you start to learn that it's a whole nother level of seriousness, and a whole nother level of seriousness that you gotta approach this thing with. So I like we have fun at the green scheme. It's cool. We do all this stuff, but we take this stuff very, 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 very serious. And not just me. I know everyone on our team takes it really, really serious. And it's for different reasons. We all connected to this health piece. And I think as we did the work, we learned that. I've had people that just come up to me in the class while we're doing the class and sharing some of their most intimate things that are going on with them health wise. And you look at it like, and they're coming to you asking you as the expert or seeing hope in with you and the work that you're doing, and you're realizing like, whoa, if I was in that situation, I would want to connect. And so you just do your best to make sure that it goes beyond going like getting funded to be in the school and teach the class and all that, like teach a class and or do this or like run a summer camp. It's times where the participants' parents will come to us and we're able to, because we've been blessed to be in the space and sort of build our community. We've been blessed enough to really been able to see the value in having a conversation with somebody and really pointing them in the right direction to get the resources that they need to overcome whatever it is that they're going through, especially with health issues.
That's what's up. We all got to do that, right? We are black people. This pandemic kind of messed us up. I think we need to eat more healthy, be more healthy, drink some corn water. You know what I'm saying? And get that popping. I'm definitely gonna try to participate in that too because out of this Black Symposium that I did last week at Nova, Virginia, we're gonna start a Black farmers market down in the Woodbridge area. That's needed too. You know what I'm saying? So. I'm definitely going to be checking out Corner Water and make me a little money off it too. You know what I'm saying? Teach my kids.
It's definitely the play. Come on, we looking for farmers markets right now, so we're gonna connect offline.
Yeah, and then my final and last question with you is, what are your future plans for Green Scheme, Corner Water, and Ronnie Webb? What's the future look like?
Great question. I think the future is just getting from our Code Green program, which is our youth gardening program, to Girls Gone Green, to Corner Water, and to our other program, Water Watchers. We just really want to get these programs really systemized so that they can be replicated, and we can take our business models and our program models to similar communities like ours outside of the District of Columbia or outside of the DMV community. And so we do have a focus on we do have a focus on I'm sorry, I lost my words. We do have a focus on
It's okay.
Baltimore, areas like Baltimore.
Okay.
Richmond is in our which was in our game plan. Um,
Also, speaking of all of that, I know this is a midterm election year. Not to jump into any more discussion, but I know this is a midterm year for voting. Do your organization anyhow get into like voting and teach people to go out and not only eat healthy but vote? I mean, because there's some people in power that can make some changes for us in the green world. You know what I'm saying?
for sure. So what we do is we actually have set up meetings with our legislators, our council members, educating them on certain topics. What we also do is we do some workshops. We don't talk about this work as much because it's not really youth geared, but we also we help start a prison food coalition that we're leading. So I think it's the March 3rd we'll be testifying along with some of our supporters on prison food, on Department of Corrections prison food. We also do. So what we do is we encourage folks to get out and vote. But one thing we want to do is bring the issues and the legislation to in front of them so they can make their own informed decisions. But we want to get them all the information and facts, so data, how it's affecting our community, and we just ask them to push some of these issues and certain policies and stuff if they feel like it can help the community. We just want them to really understand what it is, and so we able to work with the people who are pushing certain policies, but we're able to work with the community, and we're able to sort of like we found our lane in that. Let's educate the community. It's helpful for both sides because they want support, or they want the community to back them on the issue, where the community needs to know what the issue is, what exactly is going on. So, and we've set up spaces like that. So one of the campaigns we ran was called Don't Mute My Health, which was exactly that. We were able to educate folks about the Nutrition Equity Act, different healthcare stuff that's going on, the prison food stuff. We were able to be able to talk to the Department of Corrections, and we have certain council members who have reached out to our campaign to understand and see what we were really doing. PG County has reached out with us on some prison food stuff and some nutrition, sugary beverage stuff. So yeah, we work on that stuff sort of like under the radar.
That's what's up. I think we need more of that too, and that's a whole nother world in that agriculture world, you know what I'm saying, that we need to be in those spaces too, you know what I'm saying. And that's one of the reasons why I asked you about it, because I think we just need to be in those spaces. We need to have a seat at those tables too, not only just growing food and teaching people how to grow food, but being in those spaces for food justice programs too, you know what I'm saying. That's a big deal out there as well. But Ronnie, I'm gonna let you go because it's an hour. It's past the hour. I don't want to hold your Saturday up too much longer. I thank you for joining me this morning. It's been great. It's been powerful. I'm gonna push this out. We definitely got to connect outside of this social media world to network and do some things. I'm here if you need me. Hope it's vice versa. Next week y'all come back. It's gonna be kickoff of Women's History Month. All month long, I'm gonna have beautiful gardeners, and plus a bonus day where I'm gonna do an extra Sunday, because so many gardeners wanted to get on and talk about what they're doing. So I'm gonna have 5 to 6 female gardeners on in the month of March. So come on back. This show is sponsored now by Power and Black Teas. You can go into Power and Black Teas. Let me see if I can pin that real quick, just to promote that. I can't do it right now. It's too much to type. But yeah, you can use our code Kimani and you can get 15% off. Yeah. Thank you again, Ronnie Webb. We will be talking soon. I always like to leave with this: live your life healthy, free from negativity, and as always, Black people, we gotta stay dope. All right, peace.
Peace.